Who is it?
Oh, it's good.
Hey, yo, this is Shu. Welcome back to another episode of The Connection, where we connect the dots between hip hop and mental health. I'm Shu.
I'm Dix.
I figured you were back in the building today. Welcome back, bro.
Oh man.
We got Dix in the building. Everybody, give Dix a round of applause. Let's get it.
Before we get into this really introspective interview,
you gotta give him a real round of applause. Cause you bold as shit with that.
Oh man! Before we get into this real introspective interview, we were talking about, before we went on air, we was talking about like some of the gay shit that certain artists have said. Yo, Biggie really has said, "You look so fine, I'll suck your daddy's dick." And me and North was talking about it, and he was like, "Listen, you could probably justify that if he said I love you so much,
Right.
but based off the fact that this female looks so good, Big was willing to suck a female's daddy's dick." And
That's the craziest shit I ever heard.
no disrespect.
And Weezy, let's not make light of the situation that Weezy said, "I'm at your face
I'm at
like
your
man
face
come."
like man come.
Come on, dog.
He could have
Like,
sacrificed, because he only said that to follow up.
this is all just look. Biggie hasn't been around for years, so this is all just an indication that there are people really out there with a gay agenda. They're trying to make the industry gay.
Word.
They're trying to make us gay.
Word.
And I have I don't mean any disrespect or anything towards the gay community,
There's gay rappers out there.
because I got gay friends. Like gay people are cool. They're people. But at the end of the day, don't try to tell me there's not a fucking agenda
For gayness in hip hop.
for gayness in the hip hop community.
Not even just hip hop, like just.
There's some shit. In the we'll put it this way, in the entertainment industry, because they're really just trying to. They're trying to
Why do you think so many male actors wear
plant these seeds in our mind and infect us with this gayness, and it really, I'm serious, bro, because like the shit they say, the shit they make us do, like the shit, and it works because a lot of these new artists are out there saying like crazy shit, doing crazy shit, dressing crazy as fuck.
Bro, I was on Facebook one day. I saw this one rapper from Florida. My nigga had a whole wedding dress on with a chopper in his hand, and I had
That shit's
no
crazy.
idea how to feel about this man. Hold on, Nick's getting the whole camera joint set up with the live and shit, and the shit was just wild, bro. Like, it was so weird. Like, I was looking at this nigga. He was a whole gangster. Bro. But he had a wedding dress on and a chopper in his hand. A big-ass AR-15 in his hand with a wedding dress on. I didn't know whether I wanted to skip roses with this nigga or, like, walk away from him. You know, it was scary. It attacked my fear in so many different directions. Like, in one hand, this man has a whole machine gun in his hand. And then he got a wedding dress on his body. And he looked like Young Thug because his hair is dyed like a motherfucker. I just had no idea how to take it. Like, I was so afraid. But but like, yeah, bro, like there definitely is kind of a gay agenda going on with like entertainment, and
There's definitely a gay agenda.
And it's nothing against gay people, because like they shouldn't be taking y'all culture and trying to pressure it on us subliminally. Because
what do you think the purpose of it is, though? The gay agenda. What is the purpose of the gay agenda? What is the purpose? Because we know. All right, I'm going to state simply what they're doing. They're basically willing to offer money to see us do gay shit. They want us to. They want us exactly. And that is that's a deeper discussion.
Hell yeah.
That's some Illuminati type shit. Like, we're not going to talk about that type shit. You know what I mean? So like.
And Big Mama's
how far are you willing to take it? Like, will your morals and values be compromised?
Martin Lawrence
to show us some gay shit. You know what I mean? For some money.
That nigga Dave Chappelle's like, I'm not wearing no fucking dress. I'm going to Africa. That nigga left. He turned down
Chappelle's woke as fuck.
Very woke.
Chappelle's woke.
You notice how he came. Alright, so his whole career, right? His head was always bigger than his body. And then he came back from Africa, jacked as fuck like Cock Diesel. And then his head looked. You ever seen Beetlejuice?
Shut the fuck
The
up.
little motherfucker in the waiting room. That's exactly what Dave Chappelle looked like. The small-headed motherfucking
Little ass head?
Yeah.
The regular body with the little... That's crazy.
That nigga Wayne said, I'm at your face like man come. And you know he only did that because he said you softer than Roseanne's son. He was trying to make the multi-syllable fit. I would have been all right without it. Like, you could have said something else. Like,
And here we are up here on our radio show spreading awareness for it.
Yeah,
and but not just awareness, we're spreading it. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. Like, it's really a problem. It's not okay.
It's so funny, though.
It's not okay.
I'm at your face like man come. And he said it so confidently, like no one would ever, like, you know, understand that he just said man come.
Why not come? Why man come? Like, why
Because
do
he
you
wanted
gotta...
to make it rhyme with Roseanne's son. You niggas softer than Roseanne, son. Hey, I'm at your face like man come. You cannot reach me on my Samsung. I'm busy fucking the world and giving the universe my damn tongue. Yeah. Even that's kind of suspect.
That's a little...
Coming in your face is different than female coming in your face.
Yeah, it is. It is. It definitely is. But like,
Was that well thought out on his part, or was that just like, all right, like this rhymes with that, so like...
It was good wordplay.
yeah, it was good.
It definitely was good
like,
wordplay, yeah.
I feel like Wayne is smart enough to understand that, like, you could have said so many things that come at your
He's a victim of the gay agenda. That's simply what it comes down
kiss
to.
Birdman on the mouth.
Yo, wow, we forgot about that.
I never.
Yo, we forgot
And never
about that.
The minute I meet Wayne, I'm gonna be like, yo, Wody, like, come on, you gotta talk.
Yo, Wody, Wody, we gotta talk.
Facts, fam. Like,
Fam.
I'm not finna let you slide just because of how illustrious your career is. Like,
No,
what was up with that? My
Fam.
dad used to kiss me on the cheek and the forehead, and that's as far as we was going. My mom never even kissed me on the mouth.
If a grown man ever kissed me on the lips, I don't know, like, that's some Italian shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
kiss you on the cheeks, maybe
That's
even a
some
lip, like,
monster
depending on how much I love you, but like, you better draw the line. Like, you better get this shit over with quick, or
saw
draw the
picture,
line.
right?
You know what I mean?
You saw the picture, right? It looked like they was really, really into it. Like, tongue was probably involved. Like,
Bro.
almost, like,
All right, I'm done with this convo, bro.
you think they got matching tongue tattoos?
I'll flip this whole table right now. Yo,
Oh man! All right,
I don't even want to talk about all the other gay shit in the hip hop
That nigga
industry.
Too Short had a whole interview with Vlad TV about it. He was like, I don't want to say too much, but it's definitely a gay agenda.
100%.
But yeah,
So guys, everybody listening right now, everybody tuned into the live. We got a special edition episode this week. We figured we'd mix it up, you know, give you guys something different. We spend time interviewing other people. We wanted to take the time to interview each other. So it's going to be pretty dope. We're going to get into that in a second.
Word.
You got any other things you want to bring up? Any random topics for the people?
Hendo,
Before we get into that?
Hendo, aka Dix, your guy right here, is doing a festival.
I don't think they're the same people.
Eh,
I think it's
kinda.
like one. Can they
Dix-
both be present at the same time?
Dix is a little bit more arrogant than Hendo. You
Is
feel
he?
me? Like,
Hendo's a little more reserved, a little more humble.
Yeah, the only time Dix and Hendo are shown at the same time is when I'm like like when I get super passionate about stuff
Right.
on here. You feel me? But
I'm trying to understand. Like I'm trying to really understand and like possibly form like somewhat of a relationship with Dix. You know, when he's present. You know what I mean? I don't really know him that well. So
I don't even want to respond with that because anything I say after that will just be way too much of a gay agenda.
it's the gay agenda, bro.
It is the gay
You see what I'm saying? Like we're definitely like victimized.
All right, but I'm doing a show, the Philly Hip Hop Awards, I believe, or some other festival for Urban Celebrity magazine, and I'm super hyped. You guys should come out, see your boy. I'm only 5'6", but when I'm on stage, I'm a giant.
This man's a motherfucking problem on the stage. I'm just
really
going to say
am.
that right now. This man is such a problem on stage. He shuts it down every time, and the energy he brings, like, to explain to the people. I don't know if I think we kind of touched on it last week, but for everybody, all the new listeners this week, explain to them what the stage is to you. And
The stage is my sanctuary. The stage is my home. The studio is also my home. And I won't tolerate anybody disrespecting me in my home. Nor will I tolerate anyone disrespecting or putting sacrament in my sanctuary. And as spiritual as that sounds, that's exactly how I feel about the booth. I think of it, the booth and the stage, I think of it as church.
You see how real this shit is?
Exactly. And when I go on stage, I think of every dude who's ever left me on scene when I tried to get them to come out to a show or share my music. I think of every person who's ever treated me like an outcast. I think of everybody who's ever told me no. Any person who ever even thought that their music was better than mine or their stage presence was better than mine. I think of all of that before I go on stage. And I'll be happy the whole showcase, support all my dudes, but the minute I go on stage, it's like all of that aggression pours in the center of my chest. And I grip the mic as hard as I can. And my whole demeanor changes. It's like that one fucking movie that came out about the dude with like multiple personalities. That's exactly how I feel. Like
you basically become Dix.
Yeah,
you become
I become Dix, and I just go super ham. Like I leave everything on the stage, and if I don't get all that aggression out on stage, I don't even want to be spoken to afterwards. Like, you need to give me like 15 minutes to myself to like put that leftover aggression somewhere else. But yeah, let's get into this interview. You want to go first? Like, you want me to interview you first?
Sure.
All right. So, shoot, bro. What do you think is the most important aspect of success? Or aspects?
The most important aspect of success. Do you mean... So, let me understand the question better. Do you mean of achieving success or just when you have it?
Give me both. Because I think they're both definitely two different... universes, because when you're already successful, there's different aspects that go into like remaining successful and attaining more success. But when you're grinding and you're trying to be successful, there's so many different aspects of it and so many different avenues that you have to like reach before you can say that you are successful on a social level and even internally, you know, because there are businessmen who are worth $1 billion and still feel like they haven't even scratched the surface of their success.
It depends, yeah, and that's exactly how I would answer it. I would say you have to figure out your why. You have to figure out your reason. You never want to stray too far away from the reason you started doing it.
Yeah.
A lot of people get lost. Like you just said, you know, there's people that are billionaires and they don't ever want to stop. They feel like they're never fulfilled. They never get to a point where they feel fulfilled. They feel like they've achieved enough. It's never enough. And I think success, you can't go your whole life and just, there has to be more. Like, that's cool you just can't always be chasing something, because I feel like you're going to miss all that time in between. The journey on the way up is the most beautiful part about it.
That's part of success.
And it's part of it. It's a very big part of it, because you're going to fail way more than you're going to succeed. And you have to understand the concept of that. Basically, like, in order to succeed, depending on what it is, everybody looks at success different. Everybody has a different definition. The way I view it, you just have to understand, no matter what it is, whether it's something that's really hard to obtain or achieve, or something that could be easier. You know, we chose the less often traveled path. You know, the path that not too many people want to turn down and take. You know,
that's because of fear, though.
The hard road. What do you mean?
I think people don't chase their dreams because...
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of people that, you know, one thing I hate seeing is wasted talent. I hate when people have something inside of them, and they were born special and different, and they have something, you know, that they can be great in, and they don't, because they listen to everybody that tells them not to do it. They listen to the doubt. Which basically they start to have self-doubt, because they're listening to all the outside. Usually when you don't do something, it comes from the other people telling you not to do it, because you're looking for validation. Should I do this? Should I do it? When you're new at something, you don't know if that's you or not. I always knew from a kid that I wanted to do music, as you did, so I never really listened to that, and I always understood that 9 times out of 10 when people don't do things, it's because the other people are saying no just because they can't do it. They know that they cannot do it, so they tell you not to do it, because they don't believe in doing it themselves. They don't think it can be done, or they don't think they can do it. But the difference is you're special. You might have something that they don't have.
Sometimes I wonder, like, who was the first motherfucker to ever instill, like, that fear into another person? Like, where did this chain of degrading someone's dreams come from? Like, who came up with that concept?
It probably has something to do with jealousy or pride or something. You know, like it's an egotistical thing. Like I think people do want you to win, but they never want you to do better than them.
I totally agree with
that. And you know, I wish good on everybody, but at the same time, when someone travels a path like, you know, the road that we're on, when someone, you know, wants to do something great and they're going to get all this recognition and exposure to the whole world, something like that, something real big, something on a bigger pedestal,
like
life-changing, you know, the ability, the power and ability to change other people's lives and fix a lot within the whole world, you know what I mean? I think people fear that. They don't want to see you do that because they know that they're going to be in pain watching that, because they choose, and I wouldn't call it laziness. I wouldn't say they choose to be lazy and not go for it. That's not their calling. That's not their passion. You're passionate about it. They just don't want to see, they don't want to live in the agony and the pain of watching you do it, knowing that they could have done something great in something else. Because I believe everybody does have a calling. Everybody's born and they're meant to be great in something. Okay, and I'm not with the people. These are the people that I choose to block out of my life and stay away from these days. The people I cut out of my life are the people that just accept the average mindset. I'm not with it at all. I have minimal conversations, and I'll spend the least amount of time with those people that will say, you know, you're great, I can't believe you do that or something, and then they'll in turn look at themselves and be like, you know, I could never do that or whatever. But what I want to say to them, and I don't want to put them down, but here's what I'll say to them. What is it that you're great in? Fuck what I'm great in. Let's not look at that. Let's turn away from that for a second. Let's look at what are you great in? Because I want to push everybody to be the best version of themselves that they can be.
Even if you're like one of the greatest janitors.
What is your why? Why are you here? Find what it is you're great in, and then find your why. Find your reason for continuing to do it. Find your reason for persevering, because I think success, like I said, you're going to fail more than you succeed. You have to persevere through a lot of bullshit on the way. A lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
All right, and it's not easy. Nobody said it's going to be easy.
It's not.
But the things that are worth having the most are the hardest to get, and you know, I wrap my mind around that at a young age, and that's why I believe, you know, I have the most perseverance out of anyone that I ever met, because I've been through a lot of crazy shit, and I'm still here, and I'm still pushing, and nobody's going to change that. Not one person is ever going to infect me enough and get inside my head and convince me otherwise, that I'm not going to succeed in something that I want to do, that I'm passionate about, or get me to stop. It's not going to happen.
Word.
It's not.
So, in full, the most important aspects of success is to keep trying.
Find what you're great in, and find your why, and find your reason for doing it. Never stray away from, never forget, like, when you start something, when you start that journey, when you start on that path, 25 years from now, 30, 40 years from when you started, you still cannot forget why you started. You can't let the money and all the things that you get along the way jade your perception of everything. You still have to continue to understand the reason why you started. That joyous feeling of when you started, everything that you wanted, and you know, that kind of new mentality, like ignorance is bliss. Like, you don't know what's about to happen. You don't know what's going to happen on the next step, and you're excited about that. You're excited because you don't know. It's a mystery. You know what I mean? That whole part of it, you want to keep that. And when that starts to die out, that's when it starts to feel like a job. It's a repetitive thing, and you're kind of spinning your wheels at that point. You're not excited anymore. And that's why I think people keep chasing, because they want to they want to kind of revive that feeling that they once had when they started. You know, that excited feeling of not knowing what's coming next. You can just redefine as you upgrade and you level up in things, you can redefine yourself. You always want to reinvent yourself and redefine everything, but always never stray away from the why. That's the most important thing to me. Persevere through all the shit and never stray away from why you actually started. Stay true to yourself.
Facts.
And stay humble and stay motivated and driven. And that's pretty much it.
All right, second question. That was a really good answer.
And giving back to others, I will say, that's another very big part. You have to help you can't help other people until you help yourself. But once you help yourself, that's also a great feeling. You know, it's the same feeling as, like, people say they get joy out of raising kids because they get to live through their kids. You know, they overcompensate and lack a bunch of things that they didn't have as a kid, so they get to give back to their kids. I think it's really good to succeed into something and then have the power to come back and help others. So,
speaking of compensation, do you ever feel like you overcompensate?
Do I feel like I overcompensate? Yes, I do. I feel like I overcompensate with a lot of things. I feel like I always had a chip on my shoulder since a kid. I feel like it comes from, what it stems from is me not feeling like enough. I never felt like enough. I never felt like I had just it all to be able to succeed in something. More importantly, I think I cared and valued a lot about what other people thought. And that's never a good, that's very dangerous, and it's never a good thing to get into. It's very unhealthy. What I would say to my younger self, I would shake the shit out of them and say, don't fucking worry about what anybody thinks of you. Who gives a fuck? And just do you and worry about what makes you happy, because your happiness is the only thing that matters at the end of the day. You get one life, you got to be happy. And if I would have known, I know that now, but, you know, I went through a lot of pain just worrying about what other people thought, and I never felt like I was enough. You know, I always had to look for validation from others. I was always seeking that, and I was always looking to stand out and be noticed and all that. And I don't know where that truly stems from. I guess it could have something to do with my upbringing. It could have something to do with feeling like an outcast, feeling different from the rest of society. But for whatever reason, I think, you know, I do probably overcompensate because of that. And I still to this day want to show the world and prove to myself, obviously, that I am good enough and I can do just about anything, you know, that I put my mind to. And I know that now. I'm very confident in that. I could do anything I put my mind to. I've proven that to myself plenty of times. So I don't give a fuck who notices it or who else sees it now. It's really about me at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
That's very true. That's very, very true. And I definitely
want to get to a point where I'm at peace 100%, and I don't ever have to worry about anybody else's opinion or validation, and I literally can just can not push and strive in something just because I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I got to prove this to them. Like, I'm probably right now, if I had to say, I'm probably like 75% there. When I get to 100%, I'm gonna be at peace.
Fuck out.
I'm gonna be at peace.
When this man gets to 100%, he will go Super Saiyan. His hair will turn gold. I promise you. I promise you. I spend so much time with this man. Next question. Would you rather feel hatred or heartbreak?
Hatred or heartbreak? That's a crazy question, bro. That's a really good question.
Can I give you my answer first?
Damn.
I'd rather feel heartbreak over hatred, because I've felt what it feels like to hate someone and have them not give a fuck about me.
Right.
And it feels worse. It feels so much worse than heartbreak.
Well, you know, my whole it's a very hard thing to answer, because my whole movement is stop hating on everything.
Yeah.
So you know I'm passionate about it. You know I'm passionate about. I want to be a leader in the world. In stopping the hate. So I'm very passionate about that. I understand that there's a lot of hate.
Hatred comes in different forms too.
It does come in different forms. It comes in a lot of mysterious ways that you'd never know. And but that's a really good question. Would you rather feel hatred or heartbreak? And I felt both. What I will say is, honestly, what's going to fuel success more? That's what it comes down to. I try to. You can turn any bit of negativity into something positive. And the way I see it, whatever is going to fuel my success more and drive me to succeed more, that's what I'm looking to. That's what I'm looking to tap into. And honestly, I've had heartbreak that's fueled some success for me. It's lit a fire under my ass. I've also had hatred that can pretty much light a fire under your ass. So I guess it's circumstantial. It depends. It all depends. Obviously, hate's a big issue we have in the world today. But heartbreak is also that can ruin people, and that can destroy you to a certain extent. To the point.
Cause you to hate.
It can cause you to perpetuate hate, and it will break you to the point where you have to start from square one and rebuild yourself all the way back up again. Depending on the level of hatred we're talking about, I mean, that can probably do the same thing. I've never felt hate to the point where I've just been so negative and broken inside, but I've felt hate to where it's made me sad, it's made me angry, it's made me write some of the craziest verses that I've ever written. It's made me do things that, again, like we were just talking about on the last question, who cares? You shouldn't worry about what people think, but it's I wouldn't be human if I didn't admit that it's got me to the point to actually have enough control over my actions. You know what I mean? I allowed it to have control over my actions. Certain hate that I've received from others. So honestly, it depends what it is, but they're both very bad.
They're both really fucked up.
Yeah, I would just say use it, whatever it is, use it to fuel your success. If you can turn anything into a positive, and if you're gonna end on a positive, you got to take whatever it is, whatever hatred you're receiving from others or whatever heartbreak you're going through, and let it fuel your success, and that's it.
Word. Next question. What
Next. What's this? 2, 3, 4?
Number 4. How long do you think it would take for you to get back everything you ever lost if you were asked out and had nothing?
How long would it take for me to get everything I ever lost?
Like if you were say you're a millionaire and out of nowhere you just make a pretty bad business deal and it just starts a whole slippery slope of you losing money and being broke.
Okay. All right. I know how to answer this. So I haven't been a millionaire, obviously, yet, but, and I say yet because I will be.
It will happen.
It will fucking happen. Because I have the mindset. You have to acquire the mindset first in order to get there. That's what most people don't. That's a whole other topic. But what I will say is I've had loss to the point where I've built myself up beyond a point I ever thought I could get to. I always knew that I was special. I always knew I was destined to do something great. But sometimes you just hit a point and you're like, damn, I really did that. You really take a second to look back on what you did. And I've built things for myself and have been so proud of myself for it. And I've lost them. Maybe because I put too much trust in another person, or maybe because I wasn't paying attention to something, maybe because I haven't experienced certain things yet and didn't know how to handle them yet. For whatever reason that would happen, what I can say is it doesn't matter. I'm at a point in my life where I know that no matter what I lose, no matter what loss I take, whether it's something, whether it's a possession, whether it's something I created, whether it's a business, anything, or a person, whatever loss that I have in my life, I will get back, and I will get it back and then some. I will upgrade from that situation. I believe you could drop me off, bro. You could drop me off naked in an unknown territory, dog. In an unknown territory where I don't know a single soul. There might not be people around. There might be people around. You can put me in a situation, in any kind of circumstance, uncomfortable. You could put me in a bad environment, good environment. I don't care what it is. You can drop me off with nothing. Nothing. I have nothing to my name. I have nothing. I have no clothes on my back. I have no money in my pocket. I don't have pockets. All right? I promise you to God that within the first hour or two, I will be fully clothed. Okay? Within a few weeks, I will have networked with enough people to get something up and going, whether it be a new business, some kind of model of something, working, generating revenue and making money, turning a profit. And I guarantee you I can build a whole situation out of fucking nothing in the snap of a finger. You give me like a month or two.
I respect that.
I honestly, you could, I promise you, do it right now. Drop me off with nothing, no money, no clothes on my back, and I'll appear in this unknown territory, and I will make shit happen. You know why? Because at the end of the day, all you need is this right here, your mouthpiece. If you're born with the ability to get shit done, then you'll get shit done. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. You'll get shit done. It doesn't matter. It matters who you are. It doesn't matter, where you were born or what circumstances you had. It doesn't. So that's who I am, and I'm going to show up anywhere and get the job done. That's pretty much it. You feel me? So, what's the next question?
Our next question is, let me find it. Does your ADHD help you succeed, or does it hinder your success?
Does it help me succeed, or does it hinder my success? I would say it depends what spectrum you're looking on. You know what I mean? What are you looking from the mindset of the glass half full or half empty? You know what I mean? Like, you can. A lot of people victimize themselves. They choose to play victim in a circumstance where they might have to work harder than others. You know? Sure, I might have to work harder than the average person on some things, but why would I let that hinder my success? Like, work smarter, not harder. Really, what it comes down to is like, it's just the mindset you have at the end of the day. Your mindset is everything. Your attitude in life is everything. That determines your latitude. You know what I mean? So, I believe it could hinder my success if I allowed it to, but that would be up to me. That would be on me. Have I allowed it to at times? Sure, but life's all about learning. It's a process, and when you go through certain things, you have those experiences to take from and pull that knowledge, from last time. You never repeat the same mistake. You'll be all right. I would say that I allow it to help me because it makes me more creative. It makes me think differently than the average mind, the average person, and where the normal person would get upset and want to give up on something because they don't see that something's working out. I think it helps me. I think because I'm such a deep thinker, I'm able to think and where the average person would scratch the surface on something, my thoughts go beyond that. They penetrate and they go beyond that. I'm able to think on a much deeper level. And where some people may say I overanalyze situations, sure, I'm sure I do. But it's actually helped me achieve a lot. And I'm able to better prepare for things where the average person is they're not aware of something or they're not cautious enough. And I think if someone's not scared sometimes, if they say if you're not scared, you're stupid. You should fear something sometimes. When you fear something, that means you want it really bad and you're thinking about it again and again and again and again. And that just tells me right there that through my experiences, I will eventually learn and I will get everything I ever wanted. That's all that tells me.
Damn.
So
that was deep. All right, we're gonna switch the pace a little bit and get a little bit not less personal, but just a little bit more relaxed. So who's your favorite movie star? Because you kind of look like Matthew McConaughey.
Who's my favorite movie star?
Can be male or female.
My favorite movie star has always been Denzel Washington. I'm a big Denzel fan.
Woo!
I'm a big Denzel fan. And let me tell you why, though. So the reason why is because I like his attitude.
Yeah.
All right. My favorite actors, I always looked at people who I want to either match their attitude or people that I already match attitudes with.
Denzel Washington.
His whole persona, everything about him, the way he speaks with people, the way he handles things.
Very relaxed.
I like Denzel. I like Al Pacino. I like Leonardo DiCaprio.
I love Al Pacino.
They're the kind of actors that I like. And I think Denzel gets the W there.
I think all three of those. I don't like Leonardo
all
DiCaprio,
of them are amazing.
But I think all three of them.
Leo's a really good actor. He's very underrated.
I think all three of them are very sure of themselves.
Yes, very confident, very sure of themselves.
And not in a cocky way, like in a very introspective
humble
way. Like they know who they are.
Yes.
And I respect that.
They have integrity. They're humble. Like that's I like that. But yeah, that's.
I love Denzel Washington, bro.
Denzel's the man, bro.
Bro, I think as much.
I live for those moments where you get to see like a really good scene with Denzel with like he has quotable shit. Like,
have you seen Don Q? John Q.
Yes.
Bro, I love that movie. That's one of my favorite Denzel movies.
Yeah.
Like, and Deja Vu is fire.
He has so many quotables, bro. Like,
he really does, bro.
He's
the
the
Drake
man
of movies.
He's the man, bro. He really is.
I like him. I like Don Cheadle. I like Ludacris a lot, actually, as an actor.
I also like Will Smith. I like his attitude too.
Will Smith's
an amazing fucking actor.
They're in the tie for the two best black actors of all time. Them and Morgan Freeman.
I'll put Will Smith right in that category. Morgan Freeman has some shit too, but I'll put them right in the category.
Super diverse. Actors.
With like Al Pacino and Leo and Denzel. I'll put Will Smith right up there.
Oh yeah, love Will Smith. Shout out to Will Smith and shout out to his son for having one of the best albums of the year.
Jaden's the man.
Yeah, he's great. Is there anything you like much as music? Like if you weren't doing music, if like you were just like on a different path, like if there.
So, I think everybody has to have an outlet. Everybody has to have something that they look forward to. From the moment they wake up until they go to sleep. And I would say the only other thing or things that do that for me other than music would be fitness. I love going to the gym. I look forward to it from the time I wake up. I plan everything out, my meals and my whole diet. I have to have it in check and get it right and eat a certain amount of food and eat the right kinds of food and just everything. You got to drink enough water, you got to whatever. But when I go to the gym, that's my outlet. Like, literally, if I didn't have music, I'd have to go to the gym more because there's a certain feeling that I get when I go to the gym that is irreplaceable. Like, you can't touch it. I'm the most motivated while I'm working out and right after I finish a workout. It's the craziest thing. Like I could literally, I wish I could get a workout in before every important business meeting I had. I wish I could get a workout in before every performance that I've had. You know what I mean? Every important thing that I have, the gym is number one right beside music. And then other than that, I would say business, entrepreneurship, being able to take something and turn an idea into a business model and generate revenue and turn a profit.
Turning shit into sugar.
Exactly.
Tory Lanez said that shit on an interview one day, and cause niggas was talking about like this one meme that he had, cause his hairline was ridiculous. Like his barber pushed his shit back, and he was on FaceTime looking like a motherfucking narwhal. It's just his whole dome was just like crazy.
Did you say narwhal?
A narwhal. A narwhal. It's a weird ass sea animal, and fucking. I
thought you said Nardwar.
No.
Shout out to Nardwar. I can't wait to meet that dude. Nardwar's cool as shit, bro.
And he swagged the fuck
I can't wait till the end of the interview when he's just like sitting still and like I'm gonna like pick him up and
just take him with us.
Crazy, bro.
I love Nardwar, bro.
He's funny as fuck, bro.
But Tory said that like he learned that from 50 Cent. Like whenever somebody like laughs at you or like makes a meme about you or like it's almost like bad publicity is good publicity. You feel me? Like he was like
all publicity is good publicity.
Exactly. He was like, I just learned to turn shit into sugar, and he said it on Meek Mill's Liddy. He was like, they be making memes, I'll be making millions. You feel me? I'm making money while you're sitting there making a meme of me and my fucked up hairline.
Make fun of me as much as you want.
Exactly.
Give a fuck.
He was like, this is music. You feel me? Like the last time he took something personal is when he had that scuffle with like Travis Scott, and then after that, niggas like Tory Lanez just started focusing more on his music and turning his shit into sugar because he got arrested for a gun. He had that whole issue with Travis Scott. He had an issue with Drake in his earlier career, and now all of those problems are solved. Him and Drake are really good friends now. Him and Travis Scott are they co-write stuff together. Like he gave him props on Astro World. And no one can really make a meme about Tory no more. Like, you can't say that Tory Lanez sounds like somebody now anymore because he turned all of his shit into sugar. Like, everything that people say he couldn't do, he did. And I really respect that about him. And I respect that about other businessmen like Shu, 50 Cent, Jay-Z. Because all of these people are up against conditions and are being told by other people that like, yo, you can't make it, or people are giving them what ifs, but what if this happens, but you should try this, but why don't you have a plan B? And none of these people that I just named have a plan B, and they turn all their shit into sugar. And if you're an artist or a businessman out there, just know that you need to turn your shit into sugar. Next question. So hold on. Looking for these questions. Number 8. What's the most embarrassing moment you had in school?
Most embarrassing moment I had in school.
I just want y'all to know that Shu was not always this much of a giant. This man's 230 pounds, but he was not always this big. So
nah, I wasn't. I was.
I saw a baby picture of you the other day, bro.
I was a skinny ass little dude. You know what I mean? Just trying to find his way in the world, and yeah, most embarrassing moment. That's a tough question.
Can I give you one of my most embarrassing moments?
I could come up with a few. I don't know the most embarrassing. I'm trying to think back on certain situations.
You can just give me an embarrassing moment. It doesn't matter.
One embarrassing moment, and this is because, so basically I was walking in gym class. I think I was in like 9th or 10th grade. I was walking in gym class and we were going to the locker room. I think gym class just ended. We were going to the locker to get changed, get ready for our next class. And I was walking with my boy and we were just talking. Next thing I know, like, I heard people laughing, but then I heard a bunch of people saying, "Are you all right?" And I like woke up out of a daze and I was on the ground and I started looking around and I'm like, what the fuck happened? And my boy's like, yo, what's his name just hit you. So the dude snuck me from the back of my head. He just swung at the back of my head like a fucking bitch. Right? So as soon as my boy said that, I didn't even think twice. I got up and I said, where'd he go? And he's like, he just went that way, and he started running. So he pointed to the direction. I ran as fast as I could. Before I could get into the locker room and get changed and all that, I wasn't worried about any of that shit. I was worried about finding him and fucking him up, whether I could or not, because I was a skinny ass dude, and I probably didn't have a shot at winning a lot of fights. You know what I mean? But it never prevented me from backing down.
Word, you can't.
And I only ever backed down from a fight if I knew that I was going to get jumped, if I knew I was about to be set up, because that happened a lot in school. By the way, when I ran down the hallway, I never found this kid, and he ended up getting expelled like a couple days later from the school.
For something different?
Something else. So he ended up getting expelled, and I never saw him again in my whole life. Never saw him again in my whole life. But then my one boy, I hope he's watching right now, my one boy actually reached out to me, and he would text me and give me updates like, yo, he's living here now if you want to go find him. He's living blah, blah, blah. By that point, I was just like, you know what? I'll see him when I see him type of shit. I'm not going to go look for him and go out of my way. But that was crazy. That was on some bitch shit. If I see you again, I'll smack the shit out of you. You know what I mean? But like people, it was a big thing in my school. I don't know if it was like a thing where I'm from, or if it was just a thing everywhere, or if it was the time era that I grew up in. But like everybody, they love to jump people, and that was like a thing, and that was some fuck shit. You know what I mean? Because like, if you're gonna square up one-on-one. Like I'm not with the jumping. I don't understand like why that's like a thing. You know what I mean? What does that prove? 20-on-1. You know what I mean? That's stupid. That doesn't even make sense. So yeah, that's it.
Alrighty. Next question. Actually, hold on. I want to touch on something because I was bullied in school a lot too. Actually, that's a lie. I was bullied in middle school a lot, in like fifth to ninth grade was like shit for me, and I was bullied a lot. People called me Monkey Boy because I had big ears and like I looked like Curious George. I still kind of do. I still kind of look like a monkey, but it's all right. I get bitches. Bitch now, just one. She's over there. And people would really terrorize me, and it honestly like caused a lot of trauma. And I always like it gave me a Napoleon complex. Like I definitely overcompensated because people made me feel like I wasn't big enough. And that's what I was saying about my stage performance. Because, like, I'm not the biggest dude. I'm 5'6", 127 pounds, soaking wet. So when I'm on stage, I have to feel like, when I'm on stage, or even if I walk into a room and I'm dressed fresh, I have to feel like nobody's dressed fresher than me. Nobody raps better than me. Nobody puts on a better performance than me. Nobody makes music better than me. I keep that mentality in because I refuse to be that same little boy who was told by people that I'll never be shit and that I'm never going to get a girlfriend or never be successful. And now some of those dudes who said that shit and bullied me are in worse spots than I am.
Or nothing.
Or nothing. They're fucking
and
losers.
It sucks because, like, the kind of person I am,
you want to feel bad for these
I want to
people.
feel bad. No, I do feel bad. And I want to, the kind of person I am, I want to be able to help them. I want to be able to empower them and put them in a better situation in life. But I can't because you burn that bridge. You know what I mean? You burn that bridge. I'm not going to go out of my way to be a dick.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be extra and help you now because you burned that bridge and you fucked up.
PSA to all the
So now you
motherfuckers.
got to go find another person as good as me, which I guarantee you'll never find because there's only one of me. And you burned it. You fucked up, and I hope you learned your lesson.
Shout out to all the people who bullied me. Some of y'all niggas is dope fiends now. Some of y'all got babies on the way with baby moms that you don't like. Some of y'all niggas is just y'all either lost too much weight or gained too much weight. Some of y'all niggas still live with your moms.
It's called good karma and bad karma. These are the people that went out of their way to hurt other people. Mm-hmm. They're now suffering the most in their lives now. And they feel the worst
in their prime, like in their 20s and shit, where you're supposed to be enjoying.
You're supposed to be enjoying life, and they're the same people now. It's funny how those are the same people now suffering the most. Like,
I will say though, those dudes who bullied me and those people who bullied me, because I was bullied by females and males. If I was to ever see any of them on the street, homeless or whatever, I'd pick them the fuck up right then and there.
Right.
Take them to go eat. You feel me? Put some money in their pocket, because nobody deserves to feel that low in their life.
Yeah.
You feel me?
If we cross paths, I'm not going to go out of my way to be a dick.
You can't live with
I'm not going to be too extra. I'm not going to go out of my way to help you, but
that person could always still exist.
But I will help anybody. You know, life is all about helping. You know, even those who have hurt you, but don't go out of your way.
Keep succeeding after they tormented you. Like, do you know someone who treated you like
No,
shit?
I don't,
and
because
is still successful.
No, because these are all people who are just unhappy with themselves, unhappy with life. Life is miserable for them because they are so insecure and unhappy with themselves. So like their whole world has crumbled and fallen around them
because they spent too much time
perpetuating hate and worrying about everybody else, and they are not at peace with the core of themselves first. That's the problem.
Do you feel like people who succeed the most are at peace with themselves, or do you feel like people who succeed?
I think they have a very.
Well?
I think you have to have a very profound understanding of who you are as a person. You have to accept yourself fully, love yourself fully. I believe to be successful in anything, you have to. Some people, I believe, sometimes you can if you're not happy with yourself and you have insecurities, you can push yourself to do something.
Yeah.
You know, like I know friends that are athletes that push themselves so hard to do something, to succeed, because they want everybody else to watch them be the best and all that. But
that causes a lot of mental issues with athletes.
That's not you can't achieve long-term success that way. That's short-term. Short-term, it's only going to last so long. Eventually, you're going to have a breaking point because everybody has them. You're going to burn yourself out, and you're going to be like, "Fuck this." You know what I mean?
That's what's crazy.
I don't want to speak too much on it, but I have people that are very close to me now that are going through that right now. Whether they're an athlete or whether they're trying to push to do something really great, and they're having like a breaking moment, like they're having a mental breakdown, and they don't know.
They spend too much time setting expectations for themselves.
Yeah, so
all right.
Gotta be at peace.
Next question. This is a funny one. Marry, fuck, kill. Scarlett Johansson, Lily Simmons, and Jennifer Aniston.
Wow. Wait, repeat those names.
Scarlett Johansson, Lily Simmons,
I fucking love her.
And Jennifer Aniston.
And Jennifer Aniston, I love her too. I love all three of them, but damn.
I married Jennifer Aniston because she seemed like she got a nice credit score.
Oh man.
Her legs is insured for millions of dollars. I'd fuck Scarlett Johansson because she looked like a side bitch.
Can we technically say?
Can we smash all of them?
If I marry them, I do get to fuck them too, right? Because I'm married to them, right?
Like who?
So it's not just like the one time. So the fuck is the one time. Just get it done with and never again.
Just to say you did it type.
Just to say you did it.
And that's how I would treat Scarlett Johansson. Like, you feel me? Like, I would definitely like if I was a young nigga still and I fuck Scarlett Johansson, I'd definitely put that shit on the gram. Like, yo, Scarlett, just let me smash, blood. You feel me? But with Jennifer Aniston, she got financial security. Her credit score, great. She been around the block. You feel me? She know what she want in a man and in sex. You feel me? Scarlett Johansson still type young. She's still trying to find herself. I'll take Jennifer Aniston even though she almost 60.
I think
credit score crazy.
I don't really know. I know the least about Scarlett Johansson. I've been a huge fan of Jennifer Aniston my whole life. Lily, I have like a secret obsession with. But she's new and I don't know too much about her. So I'd probably say I marry Jennifer Aniston.
Smart choice.
I fuck Lily and I gotta kill Scarlett Johansson. No offense to Scarlett Johansson, she's beautiful too.
She is
that's a tough one. That was really tough. That was really tough.
Kind of looked like the mouse from Cat Dog.
But like Lily, I'm telling you right now, Lily's
got a Rudolph nose, fam.
Lily Simmons. I'm saying this right now, here and now. I will meet her one day, and that moment will happen. I will take her on a date.
She's like abstract gorgeous, you know. She's not like high school. She's not like high school girl next door.
No, she's like exotic looking.
Yeah,
like
she is.
crazy. Like
yeah.
I think she's beautiful.
She's like
and
supermodel gorgeous.
Yes.
You know how supermodels look?
Yes.
They wouldn't look.
But she's not fake.
Yeah.
She's like naturally beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah.
And I'm very attracted to her, and I do believe we're gonna cross paths one day, and that moment's gonna happen.
Lily Simmons, if you're listening,
you heard it
right here on The Connection. We the plug.
You heard it.
All right. Question number 10. How do you want to be remembered?
Damn. How do I want to be remembered? I want to be remembered as a man. I want to be remembered as someone who did a lot to spread awareness and stop hate in the world. I want to be remembered as someone who taught the youth, or just whoever's trying to achieve something great, that you can succeed in multiple things. Okay, I do believe if you're passionate about something, you have to put all your chips into one thing and really go hard in it. I'm a strong believer in putting your 100% into something, rather than making a 50 and a 50 and putting half your time into this and that. But what I mean by that is I'm going to prove that you can be successful in multiple things, because the way that I am, I already know that I'm going to succeed in multiple things.
I've seen you put down music. I've seen you put your 100% in music, and then put down music for the day, and then take your 100% that you just put in music and then revert it into something else that you're passionate about.
Right.
I think it's very important for people who are doing things, who are multifaceted and are multi-talented, to keep that mentality. Like,
to learn how to balance.
Exactly.
Like, as a kid, I wasn't great with balance, and I'm just starting to get good with it. I juggle a lot. You know that. I mean, if there's anybody that knows, like, I juggle so much at once.
You do a lot.
A lot. So, I just want people to understand you can succeed in multiple things, but really just put your 100%, put all your chips into one thing first. Go as hard as you can. Get to something substantial enough, and then go achieve that next thing. You know, you don't have to stop. You don't have to stop there. You can go find something else. Like look at rappers who we never thought were good. I remember one person back in middle school. I remember this conversation I had with one of my teachers. I was in one of my classes, and I remember the teacher used to let us go on his computer and listen to music during the class. And I put on T.I. Rubber Band Man.
I love
around that
song
time
so much.
And nobody was really on T.I. yet. He was just kind of blowing up. Nobody really knew who he was. I was kind of like introducing some of my classmates. They're like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "It's T.I. Like he's dope. Like you got to listen to Tip." And I knew. I said right then and there, I was like, "This guy's gonna be somebody. Like he's really like." I saw it. I felt it, and I really fucked with him. And
now look at him.
He's a person that came from nothing. He grew up in an environment where, like, to us especially, because we're not with that southern slang, like, I couldn't even understand half the shit he was saying. Now he's in business meetings and talking very educated. Like, you can really just change your whole shit, and you can also put yourself in movie roles, and now he's an actor, an impeccable actor, and doing, like, you know what I mean? And he just put out a great album. Like, you can really succeed in multiple different avenues. You know what I mean?
I don't think I've ever seen T.I. actually play T.I. Like how other rappers go in and like make those hip hop movies about their life. T.I. has never done that, and he has so many.
ATL would be the closest thing to that, but it still wasn't 100% him. But it was close.
That was about Southern culture,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
But he's never made a movie about his life.
Him and Big Boy did good in that.
Big Boy's a phenomenal actor too. I totally forgot he was in that movie.
Yeah, he was like the drug dealer, like.
That whole cast was actually super fire. I really love that movie. Diana Ross's son was in that movie.
I didn't even know
light-skinned bull who got shot. Her daughter is in Girlfriends. Ellis Ross. Yeah. Diana Ross has
every time we're talking about like
it's 4 o'clock.
Every time we're talking about those movies, we always forget ATL.
Yeah.
Always.
ATL is a beautiful hip hop movie.
But yeah, no, that's someone that I'm inspired from.
Yeah, Tip is.
But I want to be remembered as what else? I want to be remembered as
definitely an entrepreneur.
The guy, an entrepreneur. The guy who was had many different, had a lot of adversity and faced a lot of different things, and I was up against so many things, but I never gave up and I persevered through them. And lastly, I was going to say entrepreneurship. I want to be known as someone that can take something and make it come from nothing to something. I want to, be able to look at anything and just get, because I think of crazy things throughout the day. Like, I want to be able to create just a random idea and turn it into a profitable business.
You're going to be one of those entrepreneurs who see like an abandoned building and then, you feel me, turn it into like the best car dealership in the county.
Why not? If you can, you know what I mean? Like we need that. We need that.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs, small business owners, small. I don't plan on being a small business owner always, but small business owners, help a lot with the economy, and people don't realize that. We need that. We need entrepreneurship. Not enough people have an entrepreneurial mindset because they fear from what they've heard or other people's. Because you do fail more than you succeed, but when you succeed, it's
those failures don't even fucking matter.
It doesn't matter, and you know what I mean. It's like, I don't know. I don't.
Was I stressing about this in the first?
It doesn't matter. It becomes nothing.
That's gonna be the weirdest.
Pain and failure is temporary. The success is forever. So like when you get it, I don't understand like why people stress out day to day, because like it's temporary. It's not going to be there forever.
But can you admit,
it's okay
when we make it, that's gonna be the weirdest flip of our mentalities. Because when we make it, we're gonna look at like the shit that we've been through and be like, why the fuck were we stressing about that?
I would love because we're gonna sit for hours and just talk. Like, what the fuck were we?
Like, really? That's what we were sad about?
Right. We were acting like little bitches.
It's gonna be so freaking hilarious. Because like, me and Shu have these talks all the time, and we're like, yo, like, why are we stressing this even right now? Because we know where our journey is taking us. But like, there's still little things that we stress about just because we're human. And then you texted me one day and you were like, bro, like, I can't wait till we're at that point to where I can look at you across the stage at Madison Square Garden and just drop a tear because we finally made it over all of the adversity.
That's going to be one of the craziest moments of my life.
Think, like, we're going to be sitting there counting money in, like, the back of an SUV in the back of our Uber and like, what the fuck were we stressing about at the end? Like, we have $100,000 each. What are we stressing? You want to go to Nobu, bro? Like, do you want to take our kids to Great Adventures? Like, come on now, like.
Yo, shout out to all the people watching right now, all my friends, all my family, everybody, all my entrepreneurial-minded friends, everybody that knows their worth and knows they're going to be a millionaire one day. Shout out to you.
Honestly, facts.
If you know it now, then you're going to do it.
All right, let's flip this interview. It's my time to shine.
Let's flip the switch. You got the questions?
Yeah, I definitely do have the questions. Give me 1 second. There you go.
All right, Hendo, you ready?
Yeah, dude.
That was almost perfect timing too, because it's like 4:00.
Yeah, that was a great interview.
That was really good. I liked it. I liked all your questions.
Thanks.
All right, so we're flipping the script now. It's Hendo's interview. Question number 1. Is Dick still here? Shit.
He might pop out.
That man is
sly, man.
That man is crazy. Question number 1 is, what do you want your greatest achievement to be?
I want my greatest achievement to be, it's kind of like the same question I asked you for your last question. I want my greatest achievement to be not only financial success and musical success, but spiritual success. Over anything, because I know the money will come, I know the music success will come, I know the touring the world will come. If I can go on stage or talk to a bunch of college students based off my musical success and tell them that God loves them, and they resonate with that, and they go and do their own spiritual research, and they find God one day, that will be my biggest accomplishment ever. Because I'm already a great dad. I'm already a great musician.
So you want to help perpetuate and change people's spiritual outlooks.
Yeah, I'm not gonna focus on religion because religion is garbage. You feel me? It may have some good tenets to it, but all in all,
religion and politics are a tough thing to be in.
Every single religion has used their religion.
A lot of corrupt shit in that.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Spirituality is the most pure form of finding God, in my opinion, because I think of God on weird terms, like how they had Greek mythology, how Greek mythology had so many different gods, and how Hinduism or Buddhism has different gods and different tenets, and even like Egyptian polytheism, I feel like those polytheistic religions were them interpreting God in their own way, you know, or maybe the God I believe in is the most ultimate God, and these polytheistic gods really did exist to these people. You feel me? So I think of God as not only a spiritual mentor, but also someone who is a chemist, because nature wouldn't exist without the Lord, and someone who's also a caregiver, because they say God, you are made in God's image, and God is not only merciless, but God is also merciful. God is also someone who is widely intelligent and all-knowing and can make miracles just by blinking. And look at the human race, you know, we've as much as God has destroyed for the sake of preserving spirituality, we have destroyed for the preservation of control. And if we would have just switched our morals, we would be creating for the sense of spirituality, not destroying for the sense of selfishness. And I think that's something that humans need to learn. And I feel like,
do you think once we learn that, do you think life will just like end? The whole world, poof, done, gone?
Maybe, because that
Earth. I feel like a part of me deep inside feels like because I feel like the meaning of life is to learn to love and to stop spreading hate, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that, you know, we're so far from that.
Yeah.
So like I feel a part of me feels okay, because I feel like once we get to that point that God wants us to get to,
we won't need.
I feel like the whole thing will just be poof, we'll all be gone, and it'll. Part of me feels that way. I
it
feel
says
like,
in the Bible that there will be a new heaven and a new earth, but the sad part is it won't be because we found some type of spiritual enlightenment. It'll be because the world is too poisonous and God needs to start over. I wish that, you know,
do you ever think, as a human race, do you ever think humanity will get to a point where we will understand that meaning and actually?
I think it's possible.
Live by it.
I think it's possible because
where everybody's just spreading love and we're not so hateful. Do you ever think we could get to that?
I definitely think it's possible because I read Revelations a lot.
Because there's so many good people out there.
There's so many good people,
and they wouldn't spread hate had it not. Because two wrongs don't make a right, but a lot of people spread hate because other people spread hate to them. Mm-hmm. So think about that.
This is my thing, though. I read Revelations a lot, and Revelations and how it tells about the destruction of the world, I look at it as almost as like a security blanket rather than an absolute thing. Because if we just got our shit together as a human race, there would be no reason for the Lord to destroy the earth and create a new heaven and a new earth. There would be no reason if it wasn't for the original sin and Satan being casted out of heaven and taking the third of heaven's angels with him. And
but then what would life be though? What would we have to work on though? What would the point of life be?
That's the point.
At that point, because I feel like he would think like, okay, like we don't have anything to achieve here because we've achieved the number one thing to achieve.
Yeah.
We've already accomplished it. So what else? How far else can we go?
That's why I think, to a certain degree, as pessimistic as it may sound, chaos is a little bit necessary, because I've found peace within myself through all of the chaotic things that I've been through. And it's kind of ridiculous how, like, hatred or being a hateful person back when I was, like, a real big asshole, it brought me, I swear to God, I was such a piece of shit. It brought me to a real, it's not, I was really such a piece of shit. And, it brought me to a sense of loving myself, because I finally sat down and evaluated how much of a garbage can that I actually was, and how much hate I was perpetuating on the others, and how much hurt I was perpetuating on the others, and it made me sick to my stomach. I felt disgusted with myself, and that's why I believe in God so hard. That's why one of my biggest achievements will be to bring my fans, and not only my fans, but just random people that I meet, closer to the Lord. I had this one conversation with this lady, and with this lady at McDonald's one time, and it was actually in a real bad place in my life. Like I was hustling, and I was just going crazy, and me and this lady had a 10-minute conversation about God and about the Lord, and I told her, like, I don't really believe in the Bible because I think it's bullshit. I think the biggest relationship to have is not with your Bible, it's with the Lord, you know? And she was like, as much as I may disagree with you on that, I think you are an anointed young gentleman because You've told me straight to my face that you stopped going to church and you still maintain this relationship with God, and you still understand that through your denouncing of the Lord, through your life, and through you having animosity towards the Lord and still recognizing that He exists while you're mad at Him. It
As
shows,
did I.
you know, it shows growth. It shows that you know that the Lord exists and you know where your soul belongs to, but you're just having a hard time dealing with it as a human.
Right.
So that would definitely be one of my biggest achievements, is to just bring people closer to God and closer not only to God, because I don't feel like you can love the Lord fully until you love yourself, until you have that spiritual realization.
You can't love anything or anybody,
exactly,
any outer existing thing until you, from the core of yourself.
I didn't even love music as much as I love it now until I learned how to love myself. Right. So I feel like once you have that basis of self-love and self-acceptance, you'll understand why it's such a relieving feeling to let the Lord or whatever higher power you decide to call Him take control of your life. Because people who don't love themselves try to take control of everything in their life to make themselves feel like they have things under control. But when I decided to love myself, I didn't have to do that anymore because I gave it to God.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at.
I know a lot of people that need to hear that.
Yeah.
All right, question 2. If you could tell your enemies one thing about you now versus you in the past, what would it be?
I'm a way more apologetic person. If I could say anything to any of my enemies, it would be I'm sorry. Because half the enemies that I have, I made because of the things that I was doing. You know, I have enemies right now that don't like me because of something justified that they don't like me for. You know, I've done things that are, in some people's opinion, irreprehensible, like just can't be forgiven. So if I could, and they say that in Narcotics Anonymous, you should always try and make amends unless it caused harm to yourself or the person you're trying to make amends to. So there are people that I want to make amends with, but I know that it will just go down a bad road because of either my pride or their pride. But in a perfect world where I could just sit down with all the enemies I've made because it was my fault that they're my enemies, I would just tell them I'm sorry, and that they didn't deserve any of the pain that I put them through. They didn't deserve any of the things that I perpetuated onto them. Because the enemies that I have now that tormented me, I don't care about them. You know, I've made peace with them. I've forgiven myself. So the only thing to make peace with is the enemies that I've made due to my own actions.
Right.
So I just
you feel like you want to correct what you may have.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm not perfect. There. And yeah, I would tell them I'm a way more apologetic person. I'm way more conscious of my thoughts.
Because you get you receive the energy that you put into the world.
Yeah, exactly. Karma is super real.
Yeah.
And I felt karma from the people that I've hurt, and it doesn't feel good. It almost put me into their shoes, and it's not a fun feeling, you know. And some of the things I've done to people I already had done to me, you know. And there's some days where if I get too much time to think about the things that I've done to people, I'm ashamed of myself. And there are certain times where I feel like I don't deserve this good life that I have, because
you just have to take those situations, and you have to not repeat the same mistakes. Whatever was in your control that you've caused, maybe pain or hurt on someone else, you just have to correct them. And you can't beat yourself up too much and live with that in your head and keep replaying that same thing. You just got to learn from them.
Yeah, that's very true. But yeah, if I could if I could talk to any of my enemies, I would just tell them, like, listen, like, I'm sorry. Like, the person who I was is not the man that I am now. So, yeah.
Question number 3. If you could change one thing about the world that has nothing to do with hip-hop or mental health, what would it be?
I would try and change our economic and social ways of thinking, because money is one of the biggest reasons people do evil things to each other.
Money is, I think, the only reason that people do evil things.
Yeah. You don't think
so?
so?
It's the only reason. Everybody in my life that I've ever lost has been due to money. Everybody that has ever hurt me to the point where it truly hurt me the whole situation was over money. Really the most pain I've been in my life is due to money.
That's super sad.
That might be true in your life.
It's
but, I've hurt people simply because I was hurt. I didn't give a fuck about money.
That's true. I've hurt people simply just because I wanted them to feel pain that I felt, you know? And I wouldn't say money, but a lot of people hurt each other over the possessions that another man has. You feel me? People covet a lot.
I think if you think on a deeper level, though, you can justify why whatever things you guys are talking about will somehow stem from money.
I can guarantee you every anger thing
I want you to think deeply about every situation. Before answering it, I want you to think deeply and think about how money could have been involved in it. Because I did it the other day, and I thought every time that I've ever actually been in pain or hurt, it's been over money. It's been over money. And maybe that's because they say whatever you're most passionate about, whatever you're trying to achieve is something that you lack, right? I didn't come from money. I never had it. So maybe I'm just on a war path to get it. And maybe it means the most to me.
So people
maybe people don't value money.
Yeah.
I know the value of $1. Like, I know people around me that spend money like crazy, and they just don't understand what money really is and the power that it holds and what you can do with it and the opportunities that you can open up for yourself and the freedom that you can provide for yourself. I understand all that. So I understand how I value it a lot, probably more than I should, because I value it so high that, like,
it'll dictate your own decision.
It will put me in pain because, like, I value it so much that, like, one little mess up from someone else due to some money could hurt me, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean,
bro.
I know what you mean.
It's the shit. It's you know what I mean.
But what was the question again? I'm sorry.
If you could do one thing,
yeah, I would change our
that has nothing to do with hip hop or mental health.
Yeah, I would change our social way that we look at each other and that we look at other people. And because it's honestly just retarded. Like, there's so many social rules that are made to control people, and that mixed with money just turns everything into a complete clusterfuck of garbage. And I think it's so stupid. Honestly, I would rather us go back to the bartering system in some aspects of the world, because, like, trading things was so much easier than, like, having riches. You know, like, you got milk over there, I got bacon. You want to share? Yeah, you feel me? And I was gonna go into a deeper point, but I kind of forget it a little bit. But I think social norms are just kind of retarded. I think the fact that, like, economically speaking, that so many people have more money than the rest of the world, and their money could help the rest of the world, and they don't use it to help the world, is just kind of stupid. Like, you could help the world and still not go broke. So, like, what are you being so selfish for? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And it's just crazy. I would definitely change social norms and economic, the economic spread out of the world, and just how we look at each other as a community. Like, I would try and make everything as equal as possible, as far as finances, race, social justice, shit like that. Just because I feel like those are some of the few things that we are lacking as a country and as people. You know, like, I was talking to my girlfriend the other day that, like, in theory, socialism works, you know, like, spreading out money to all communities and then, you know, bringing that revenue back into the country. Like, that in theory works, but people are just so goddamn greedy that socialism can't work anywhere as a system. And yeah, that would probably be the thing I change. The next question. Hit me, Shu.
The next question,
Yeah,
I would
4.
say, what is I want to know what the most embarrassing fact about Hendo is that the world doesn't already know.
I'll give you a few embarrassing facts.
That the world doesn't know?
Some people know, but some people don't. When I was from 13 to 17, I was not a rapper. I was 16, 17 is when I started getting into rap, but 13, 14, and 15, I was like an emo kid, bro. I was out here wearing makeup, jeans skinnier than I have now, fucking straight black Slipknot tees, chokers on my neck, all that shit. You feel me?
Thing that
Some embarrassing things that ever happened to me, bro, is
tell me the single most embarrassing thing.
I took I shit on myself when I was fighting this kid before. And I was wearing white jeans and I was barefoot.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, so
that's wild as fuck.
let me give you the backstory, right? Me and this kid always had tension with each other, but
Let me hear this backstory.
It was like friendly fire tension, you know. I think it was because
was this Dix or was this Hendo?
It was Dix. It was definitely Dix. Because it was like an ego thing. Me and this kid, we were the smallest and the skinniest dudes in our group, but we talked the most shit. You feel me? We didn't hate each other, but we talked shit to each other.
That complex.
Yeah, we were trying to have a bigger dick contest. And one day, I came up to him. We were all just chilling, smoking a blunt, and I said something smart to him, just joking. And this is how much guts the kid had. His arm was broken, and he was like, "Get up, bro! We're fighting right now." And I was like, "Is that how you really feel? Do you really want to do that?" And he was like, "Yeah, I want to fight." And I'm like, "Bet." We start fighting. We're scrapping. And then, Dix comes out. Pause. And I'm like, this kid is actually putting hands on me, mobbing me in the face with a broken arm.
For a second, I thought you were telling me his dick.
No. My alter ego. This kid has me on the ground, punching me in the face. He has a broken arm. And my niggas are looking at me like, bro, you look like a bitch right now. You letting a nigga with a broken arm who don't even weigh as much as you, with your skinny ass, beat on you. So I was like, fuck this. You feel me? I got up. I slammed him on the ground. I Big Show suplexed him. I slammed him and followed him to the ground.
Yeah?
And the minute my knees touched the ground,
oh shit!
I swear to God, I shit on myself.
No pun intended, but
yeah, I
shit.
swear to God, I beat the kid's ass. You feel me? I slammed him, stomped on his face with my bare feet, all that. Walked away, kicked his ass. And
you should have smeared that shit all over him.
Should have, bro. We're cool now. That's my nigga. But
you should have. You should have. Bars.
Oh man.
Bars.
But I went into my boy's crib and he was like, "Yo, something smells like shit." I went to the bathroom. I checked my boxers, bro. I thought it was just a real intense fart.
Oh my God.
And there was poop in my boxers.
That's crazy as shit.
And I was like, y'all, I shit.
So that's the most embarrassing thing?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
That's a pretty crazy one.
I was like, y'all, I shit my pants.
That's a pretty crazy one.
Go home or we cannot hang out with you for the rest of the day. We have another blunt rolled. We're happy that you, yo, we was like, we thought about it. It was like, yo, we don't know whether to laugh at you or laugh at mans because this nigga just got his ass beat by a dude who shit on himself. And he was barefoot.
That's crazy.
But on the other hand, bro, you kind of shit on yourself. You couldn't have taken a shit before you fought mans. And it was so crazy, bro.
That's wild, bro.
That was probably one of the most embarrassing and most funny things that have ever happened.
That is funny as shit. That's funny as shit.
It's hilarious.
Probably embarrassing them, but it's funny to laugh at now.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Next question. What do you feel you gain the most from your support system, and why do you need it?
Positive energy, because they make me feel less alone. They make me feel like my mental illness doesn't even exist sometimes. They make me feel like, even though my head tells me I'm worthless, they make me feel like I'm a fucking king. You're part of my support system. Fucking my girlfriend is. A bunch of other people are. And they all the people I reach out to on a weekly basis, they make me feel more important. They make me feel like I'm in the right direction with music. They make me feel like I'm not a failure, even if I haven't achieved something that I was supposed to last week. There's you'll get to it when you get to it. Don't beat yourself up for it. But remain focused. My friends always give me a balance of remaining focused and not beating myself up. And I'm super grateful for that because I'm always too focused on something And if I let something else slip because I was too focused on something, I'll still beat myself up even if I achieve something else. So I think that's one of the biggest things that my support, and they make me feel like my problems are valid. You know, like sometimes being bipolar, like you'll know in your head that you're being dramatic, but you can't help it. But my friends, they're like, you're not being dramatic because this is just how your brain chemistry is, you know? Like,
right.
It's not your fault that you get this worked up over stuff.
Right.
And I think that's something that makes me feel very comforted and something that makes me feel very accepted. That's something I've been looking for a long time. So, shout out to my support system.
And, do you feel like everybody needs a support system?
Hell yeah.
I feel like it's important for everybody to know that they should have one because I feel like a lot of people don't have them and they think they do. And let me explain what I mean by that. A lot of people have, certain friends and family that are no good and they're not supporting them, but they're so caught up in the everyday and they just don't understand what a positive support system really is. They think just because they have people around, they think because they have friends around or they have family around them, that is their support system. But it's not really a support system because they're not supporting them. They're not being positive. They're not motivating them. They're not inspiring them. I think you could have friends you're, like, competing with, friends that you tell things to, but they're not really, like, they're yes men. They tell you, you're right. They don't really tell you something for your own personal gain or benefit. And they don't care about seeing you win at the end of the day. I think that they're really just
care about you shutting the fuck up.
They just talk. They literally just talk. I know people that spend hours on the phone with each other and they're just talking, and it's not really a fucking support system.
Just two dudes talking shit.
Right. You know what I mean? So it's like I truly believe some people don't actually have a support system, and I believe that's unhealthy, and they need to get the fuck out of it.
Yeah, most definitely.
You feel me?
Most definitely, fam.
It sucks.
It does for them.
Right. What
number are we on?
Number 6.
All right, sweet.
We're about halfway there too. It works out. So, what is the greatest advice someone ever told you?
Oh my God, bro!
Greatest piece of advice someone ever told you.
I stick with this advice every day,
even though today.
Even though it's super simple advice, I still stick with this. I was in this group therapy when I was 13 or 14, and there was this girl named Tiffany there. Shout out to her because she has beautiful kids now, and she's doing so much better with her life. And I was beating myself up one day because I just felt like I wasn't good enough. I was just having a really bad day, and I shared it in group therapy. And she was like, "Listen. The only thing you ever have to do on the ground basis of life is stay black and die." And as pessimistic as that seemed, just because we were troubled kids, she was really right. Because 2 things that are for certain in my life is that I will always be a black man, and one day I will die. All I have to do is fill in the blanks of being a black man and then dying as a black man. Those are the only things that I have to do. And when she simplified it for me like that, it made me feel so much better. And, like, it made me slow down. That advice is the reason I go out sometimes and just take walks and appreciate life and appreciate nature. Because all you really have to do is know yourself and stay yourself.
You just take a walk and become one with nature?
Yeah, bro. I swear to God. All you have to do at the end of the day is...
do you turn into, like, Chevy Chase?
Who the fuck is Chevy Chase?
And the actor, the dude, he's like the I don't know. It was in a movie.
I have no idea.
He's an actor.
I have no idea who Chevy Chase is, but yeah, dude. Like all I do is I just stay black and die, fam. Like, and it's the best advice I've ever gotten in my life, dog. Yeah, dude. Just stay black and die, fam.
Would you give that same advice to me?
Stop, because we had that conversation the other day. Stop.
All right. So, what is enough?
Hold on, we didn't speak on this. Me and Shu were having a conversation, and
I didn't say shit.
Shu is Italian, and there's there has to be a trace of like African American and Italian people, just because like the shit that happened with the Moors and stuff. And I told Shu, like, yo, listen, if you go on Ancestry.com and you find that you are 25% black or Latino, I will let you say nigga once a month.
I don't want to, though.
I will let you say nigga once a month. I will talk to the committee. We'll work something out. We'll get Farrakhan together. We'll get Tyrese together.
Yo.
We'll get Tip in the game together, and we'll come up with a nigga plan for you. Cause Shu is the only white person I know that stays brown for year round. You know, like, brown is his pigment. This man just might be black. Like, I swear to God, this man just might be black. And like, no, I've never seen a white man shape himself up with such intricacy as Shu does. So like, this may be a situation. We may need to go on Ancestry.com and figure out what fits Shu. like we need to figure out if this man is actually black or Latino, because like it's just, this man is too tan year round, and I know for a fact he does not go tanning. That's all from the sun. That's all vitamin D on his forehead, on that tan forehead of his. That is all vitamin D. That's not a tanning salon. That's not a spray on tan. That's Shu. You feel me? Like, that is him. So like, that man definitely has to be black on the inside somewhere. But next question.
You're too funny, bro.
Yeah, let's get to this next question.
That's funny as shit.
Go ahead, man.
All right, next question. What is another passion of yours that you have extensive knowledge on?
Besides like music and like spirituality.
Yeah, besides the things you always talk about. Like, what's something maybe I don't know, or just something you have extensive knowledge on?
This is when I was back in like my big ass death metal phase. I was listening to this band called Cradle of Filth, and I was looking up their lyrics, and I was like, what the fuck are these dudes talking about? And they did interviews, and they would talk about like the themes in their music, and a lot of their music was like gothic folklore from like Europe or like the Middle East. And there's this one dude named Jules DeRay that they made a whole concept album about. And Jules DeRay was this warrior. He fought in the 100 Years' War next to Joan of Arc, which ironically she got burned at the stake because she was a woman, and he got a warrior's death. And I'll explain why it's so fucking hypocritical. Jules DeRay, after the 100 Years' War, he started dabbling in demonology. He started dabbling in like gypsy, like stuff like that, and like just he was on like a quest for like power. And long story short, the man tried to summon like this is what the folklore says. This man tried to summon like this one demon that would grant you eternal life and eternal power. And he kept all these gypsies around him that was just feeding him like all of these beliefs in like satanic stuff and like pagan shit. And over this quest of power, he killed over 400 to 600 boys and girls, molested them, had sex with their dead bodies, ate them, all this other crazy shit. He would, like, you think our serial killers now at this modern age or something? Like, Jules DeRay was he was crazy. He killed over 400 to 600 young boys and girls, and because of his work in the 100 Years' War, because of him being so prolific as a warrior and as someone who had such financial stature, he was still given the death of a soldier. You feel me? Like, they didn't, I think they hung him or something like that, but they still acknowledged that he was this man, rather than acknowledging Joan of Arc as a warrior for women. They burned her at the stake because they thought she was a witch. But this man who was actually dabbling in the shit that they thought Joan of Arc was dabbling in was given somewhat of an honorable death. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's so crazy.
It's ridiculous. He killed like 600 people. It was really fucking ridiculous. And it's documented that he killed over 600 fucking people. It was really fucking ridiculous. But next question.
That is, I did not expect that. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
My height. I hate being 5'6". I hate being short. I wish I was at least 5'10". But
tell me about how that feels for all the taller people that don't understand what it's actually like. Seriously, I'm being serious. I'm not trying to be funny. Like, explain to the people like what goes through your mind. Why would that? If you could change one thing about yourself, that's the one thing it would be. Why would it be?
Because, bro, people try and little bro me all the time because of my height, and it's only solely because of my height, and that's. Once again, that's why I go so hard on stage, because I want to feel like the biggest, tallest dude. I've lost fights strictly because of my height. Like, niggas didn't know how to fight. They just beat me up and threw their power around on me because they were bigger than me. I've been overlooked in sports because of my height. You know, I remember one
basketball,
time,
definitely.
Yeah, and football. I remember one time I went to go try out for the Pee Wee League, and all these kids were like way taller than me. So the coach made me work extra hard. These dudes ran 5 laps while I had to run 10. And it made me feel like I was like an outcast. And for the longest time I heard girls say, hey, like I'd go out with you if you were a little bit taller, like you're super handsome, you know, like you have such good skin, you take care of yourself, you dress really well, and I hear that you're, you know, pretty well endowed, but you're short. I swear to God, bitches have come up to me like, yo, I heard your dick was huge, but I'm not going to fuck with you because you short as shit. My dick taller than you. Like, what are you talking about? Calm down. And that's definitely a chip I keep on my shoulder, but I transmute it into positive energy. That's why I go so hard on stage. Nowadays, it doesn't really bother me, but I feel like aesthetically now, like the only reason it bothers me, the only reason like it kind of irks me sometimes is because I feel aesthetically for like photo shoots, if I was at least like 5'10", 5'11", my stature and the things that I wear and my silhouette would just like look a little bit more attractive in stuff that I like. And there's certain stuff that I can't wear that's like high-end fashion that is meant for tall people, like certain trench coats, certain parkas, certain jeans even, and certain shirts that I can't wear because they're meant for tall people, and if I was to wear them I would just look retarded. And while I do appreciate fashion, I wish there was more of an avenue for shorter people where we could get the same effect that tall person outfit could give us. You feel me? Like I don't even feel right wearing certain boots because I know that they would look better on a taller person. You know? That's
crazy that you even put that much thought into it.
Yeah, it's really weird, bro. It's kind of
so crazy.
Like, I think about being short a lot. Next.
You should probably not let that beat you up.
Yeah, I try.
Question number 9. Dicks.
What's poppin'? What's poppin'? It's Dicks up in the building, you feel me? I'm out here, ending orphans.
Wow. Too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon. Can't be telling them shit like that. So now let's lighten it up real quick with a question. I got a question for you.
It's your boy Dix. What's poppin'?
So if money, I want to know what your take is on this. If money doesn't grow on trees, then why do banks have branches?
You know, from like an introspective level, like thinking about that, like let's actually give that some thought. Like, let's really think about that.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a reason why that slogan or why that like quote is a thing. Like, money doesn't grow on trees. But
you think that's why they call them branches?
Yeah, to like perpetuate that kind of like mindset. Because if money grew on trees, it would be so damn accessible. You know, you would have money all the time. If money grew as fast as trees did, and as much as we have like, I could go outside right now and pick a leaf off a tree, but I can't go into another man's wallet and get $1 from him. You feel me?
I mean, you could.
I could, but I'll be in some real big trouble.
Right.
You feel me? And I feel like banks have branches in some way to make you feel like that money does grow on trees, or that money is that accessible, because there's so many different banks are accessible. You could go to PNC, you could go to TD, you could go to a private bank, you could go to an offshore bank, you could go to so many different banks, you could go to a federal bank, and all of these banks have different branches, and there's so much money coming into them. But when you think of a small bank like BB&T or TD, working class people go into that bank and don't necessarily try and evolve to different branches of that bank. Or you could work for a bank and not try, like you could be a bank teller and be happy as being a bank teller and not try and, evolve in your bank's company and just be happy with being a work teller. So I think as much as a bank branch, banks having different branches could make or break a person that is going to that bank, because you'll see so many different people making money off this bank and so many millionaires who use this bank, but you're just a working class dude who uses this bank, and it'll either motivate you to be that millionaire who's using the same bank as you, or that millionaire's power, that millionaire's money will make you feel like, I should probably go to a different bank that doesn't deal with so many different successful people because I ain't shit. You feel me? And that's kind of like how the money growing trees quote can make a person's weak mentality go further into weakness, because money doesn't grow on trees. Is supposed to make you honor money. It's supposed to make you value money. But some people,
when things are harder to access, the value increases.
Exactly. But some people will look at that quote and be cautious about taking risks and be cautious about the money that is coming in, or won't even take any type of financial risk to level up their money and to level up their tree and to have their money so accessible to where it does feel like you can just pick a piece of money off your bank account just like you can pick it off a tree, like a leaf off a tree. And I feel like if you look at that quote from two different sides, it could either make or break you as a businessman and as even just a working class person. Because I know dudes who run their own companies on a working class level that are doing really well for themselves. They don't have to worry. They paid off their house. They have a boat, and they can take their family off vacations on vacations to a leisurely degree, and they're fine with their life because that's all that they want to do is feed their family and not have to worry about bills. Then there are other people who are so cautious about bills and so cautious about things that they need to save money for that they kind of forget about the enjoyments of life. There's sometimes where I even get into that mindset, like, damn, I had to pay this bill. I probably shouldn't go out and have a drink. You feel me? I should probably miss out on some fun. And then I'll regret it. Sure, I got bread, but I'm in the house alone.
Right.
You feel me? I could have just taken that L and had a good time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to take an L.
Not stress out about it so much. You need to balance. Yeah, you need that work-play balance. You know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with taking an L for the sanctity. And
you can't look at it like that. You can't look at it like an L.
Yeah,
that's a gain. That's a gain, if anything, because
if you're smart, more money will come.
A lot of people are worried about their physical, and they're willing to sacrifice their mental and emotional health for their physical gain. You got to balance it all out, because fuck the physical gain 100% of the time. If you balance it right, it's a gain. It's not a loss. It's not an L. If you go out and have a drink, that's a mental gain.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you need that time to unwind and just relax. And
what if you don't have $10 for
suppress your thoughts and just have fun and get a couple good laughs out with some good people? You know what I mean? It's okay.
So what if you spent $10 on a drink and you may be a little bit late on your bill? At least you had a good fucking time. That bill is always going to stress you out. You feel me?
Always.
It's always going to
It's never going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Bills never go anywhere.
If you don't pay that bill, it's just going to go into collections. You don't have to pay the collector. You just got to pay that fucking bill. Just get it done,
right.
And enjoy the fucking process. But I think we're up to our last question, right?
Yes, sir. So, last question. This is a good one. Would you, if you had to pick one for the rest of your life to keep and one to get rid of, if you could choose for the rest of your life to be blind or deaf, what would it be?
I'd rather be blind for the rest of my life.
I guess it wouldn't be keep or get rid of, but if you had to pick one, you'd rather be blind, you said?
I'd rather be blind for the rest of my life.
All right, explain that. Explain why and break it down.
Because I can still make music if I'm blind. I can still write my lyrics in Braille. I can still I can still feel a keyboard in Braille. I can still. There's blind people, bro, who can play basketball. There's blind.
I feel like it would be very hard to have a musical career being deaf.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. You wouldn't know pitch. You wouldn't know tempo. You wouldn't know any of that.
You wouldn't be able to feel
exactly
the rhythm of the music.
I would rather be blind.
The music wouldn't be able to take you anywhere. You wouldn't be able to hear it. How would you create music? How could you be a creator of music if you actually couldn't hear what you were creating?
And I've seen like certain like documentaries where like deaf people go and get fucking like their hearing aids, and it's too much for them. Like
Yeah.
the new sounds that they're hearing is too much for them. It makes them panic. Some people are so deaf and have been deaf for so long that they would rather be deaf than hear all of those things. Like,
Well, yeah, if you go so long without anything, you know.
you could become used to it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would be different if I was blind. Like if I was blind my whole life and I opened.
Now,
up
what
my
if you
eyes-
weren't? What if you weren't a creator of music?
If I weren't a creative of music?
Yeah, if it
and-
wasn't you answering this question, doing what you're doing, how would you answer it then? If you had nothing to do with music,
I would still rather.
if music was irrelevant to your life, would you rather be blind or deaf?
I'd still rather be blind. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Because not only am I a musician, but I'm also a father. If I couldn't be able to hear my son cry or laugh or anything like that, or
So you feel like you could? So let's look at the pros and
lose
cons.
joy
Let's
in
look at the
being a father.
downsides of being blind. You would be able to live through darkness.
yeah,
You'll be able to live in just complete darkness, just pitch black. Everything you don't see the beauty in things. You don't see art. The way I would answer that is I would counteract that with it's all about the mind, because you can create. Now, if you're born, are people born blind?
Yeah,
I don't even know
people
that.
can be born blind.
Can you be born blind?
You can be born
If
blind,
you're
deaf,
born blind and you never see anything, my thing is like, you might not know the beauty of art, but your mind probably still. I don't know what your mind could create had you never seen anything. I don't know, but I know that once, if you go through a lifetime, or not a lifetime, but if you go through like certain amount of years and then you become blind, all the things you've seen, you'll be able to come up with enough in your mind to create like art and see things for what you want them to see, because perception is reality. However you look at something is how it's going to be. So
yeah, I'd
You
still
know?
rather be blind. Because if I wouldn't be able to hear my son, bro, because I'm already blind, bro. I already can't watch my son smile. You feel me? So if I'm blind and I can't watch my son smile, I'd rather hear him smile. I'd rather hear him giggle. I'd rather hear him be sad. I'd rather hear him, on the baby monitor. Like shit like that. Like I'd rather definitely be blind. And I know there's.
So you value hearing way more than you do sight.
Yeah, most definitely. Because if I'm blind, I don't have to look at anybody's ugly face anymore.
What if people are just sitting there like flipping you off all day and you just don't even know it?
I don't know. So why would I even
It
care?
doesn't even bother you, right?
Exactly. You feel me? And there's some people who are so damn blind and so acute with their other senses
That they sense things,
Yeah.
right? Because
And
they
could
have to utilize those other senses,
And they could probably tell if you flipping them off.
right?
You feel me?
And they could probably figure it out. Yeah.
And there are blind people who can still draw, fam.
I think at the end of the day, I think I would probably choose the same. I think I would choose the same.
From an artist's mind, bro.
It would be tough, though. It would be tough. It would be tough.
But Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder.
Let's not act like it's easy. But
Shout out to all my deaf and blind.
I can't imagine life not having music. You know
Imagine
what I mean?
being mute. Imagine being able to hear and see, but not being able to rap. And writing down all these fire ass lyrics and not being able to fucking talk.
I would want to do it so bad.
I'd be so mad at myself.
I'd be like, yo, I got it. Yeah.
I need a specialist.
Right.
That shit would be crazy. Yeah, dude. Fucking Helen Keller, she was mute too. Like she was blind, deaf, and mute because she was mute due to the fact that she was deaf and didn't know what she sounded like, so she just never spoke. And it was crazy. Like,
That is crazy.
yeah, dude. You know what's weird? I always used to get Helen Keller and Anne Frank mixed up. I don't know why. Like they don't have the same story at all.
What?
Anne Frank was locked in.
Did you just tell me that?
I swear on God, bro. I used to get them confused back when I was.
They have nothing to do with each other.
Nothing at all. And I think it's just because they're both very important women in history that faced adversity that I get them like mixed up. And they were both children too. Like, but you know what's sad, bro? Anne Frank wrote that diary and it got published into a book, but she never got to live to see how much that book impacted people. Like, that's fucked. Helen Keller got to live to see how much her work impacted people. And Frank died in a concentration camp before her book was ever published. And someone just found it and published it.
I'm trying to think of this amazing bar from Crooked where he said something about Anne Frank. I can't remember what he said, but it was a good one.
I feel like Crooked is probably one of the best rappers out of Slaughterhouse, or the best rapper in Slaughterhouse.
Anything, not just.
Honestly, bro, Crooked, I feel like is a little bit better than Royce the 5'9" on the technical level. I don't think he could do like storytelling like Royce, but Royce the 5'9", Crooked is a beast. He's really ridiculous as a rapper. He kind of scares me, because not only is he good at rapping, but he's like, what?
Who?
Crooked. Because, like, not only is Crooked a beast at rapping, but, like, he'll beat you up. Like,
oh, yeah,
you can't be that smart and that violent.
He's an OG, for sure.
Yeah, he is. I respect the shit out of Crooked. Like, when I think the first time I ever heard him was on the Shady 2.0 Cypher at the BET Awards. I think his was the best one besides Joe. Joe Budden came crazy. He said, "Body be finna mention of one of my trap doors." Like, bro, I never knew Budden could rap like that until I watched that cypher.
Listen, they all can put some smoke.
That man Crooked was like, too many people still sleeping pills, sleeping on my ether skills. What the fuck? That was crazy. Like, I wish I could remember like word for word. Even Yellow Wolf bodied that shit, man. Yellow Wolf came crazy. I really have you heard Yellow Wolf's verse for One Train by A$AP Rocky?
Oh, yeah.